We've gone through a lot of different things together, right?
Yeah,
From
man.
the mobile ads days, mobile advertising, and now SEO. Okay, so I'm going to get you to introduce yourself, what you do, and your superpowers.
I'm April, Senior SEO Strategist in Growth.Pro. Really help our client move up in terms of their ranking on Google. Look at Google as a big shopping mall. The stores in front are going to get the most traffic. If you are at a corner, you're not going to get much traffic. And that's the same thing, when you are a website, we are not ranking well on Google. What I do best is actually look at what your business is about. How can we then get you in front of your target audience on Google search? We call ourselves Growth.Pro, not just because we are helping our clients to grow. We ourselves are growing, the company is growing, our team members are growing. So that's the mantra of the whole company.
So SEO, search engine optimization,
Yes,
right?
correct.
And I understand that most of your clients are the bigger clients, not the small guys.
Used to be smaller guys. Big companies, usually they would go for those famous agency, award-winning agency and all that. Of course, you have to go through big agencies, not just the small agencies that you've never heard of. I think that's the starting point, right? We go for smaller guys, just to make sure that we are able to help them. Just like Underdog Conference, right? We enjoy helping the underdog.
Yeah.
But as we grow, then we have to decide, okay, which type of client where we can give the most value add.
They know where they're going, right?
Yes,
They need to push to get.
So it's easier for us to actually help them to push because they have their vision and all that. For smaller clients, sometimes we have to give them consultations. Okay, where do you think you can hit over, the right directions and all that. That is a different sense of achievement, if we are able to help them. Right now, we still have like both clients, smaller clients, bigger clients. It really depends on what kind of clients we can get.
Quick one, right? Do big agencies know what they're doing?
Honestly speaking, you'll be surprised that many of them don't actually know what they are doing, right? So that's the thing that I realized. And of course, we have some of our ex-colleagues which has moved on to these larger agencies, and you'll be surprised how many clients they have to handle. One strategist basically handle everything. For us in Growth.Pro, we actually have separate team. We have our strategist, we have our assistant to help with the smaller executions and all that. Then we have our content writer in charge of writing SEO structured content. And of course, strategist is mainly coming up with the strategy, talking to the client, plan everything, what's the goal that we want to achieve, what's the direction and all that. So we have very distinct roles, which all of this combined together makes a very strong team. I do see myself as more of a modern SEO agency, whereby we are focusing more towards what Google actually wants right now. Not the old school backlinking kind of stuff that works 20 years back and they are still doing the same thing now.
When it comes to SEO, right? What is the number one thing that most businesses get wrong?
The number one thing is actually content. You don't go to Google search and search for backlinks, right? You go to Google to search for information. And where do you get the information from? It's from content. You may also notice that a lot of content, when you read, you realize that this is actually not what I'm looking for. Or sometimes it's a lot of gibberish, just for the sake of ranking. Just for the sake of SEO. First thing, you need to make sure that you create content that people actually search for, right? No point writing content that nobody wants to read. But also making sure the content that you are writing kind of fit into what they're looking for. Say for example, if I want to buy an iPhone, I'll go to Google and search for cheap iPhone. So the first thing I want to see is, a list of product with their pricing, and then I can instantly see which one is cheapest. If I'm interested in that, then I can click in and buy it. But if I'm searching for buy an iPhone and you give me a page that talks about iPhone, the specs and whatnot, but not giving me the price and so on, that's what we call a wrong intent kind of content. Google's business is giving the best results to the searcher. It means if you're writing the wrong type of content, Google do not even want to rank you anywhere near the top.
Is there any case, right, you work with a company, but maybe because of the company's niche, it's near impossible or hard to create content around that business?
I think content is everywhere. Even when we are working with B2B client whereby they are super duper niche. We actually have one client that works on container. It's like a very big container, refrigerated container, mainly used for offshore oil and gas. So it's very niche. But there is still a lot of content to write about because all you need to do is just understand who's their target audience, what kind of information would they want to know about. Maybe news related to oil and gas. Now you have your Red Sea, Houthis related kind of issues. So you can write about that. and that can actually bring some of them into the website and then thus create the awareness. Of course, you can also create more targeted content, like if let's say I'm searching for this kind of product, what are the information that I would be needing to help me with my decision making? So we create this kind of content, bring them in so they know, okay, this is the information that you need on this certification, and most importantly, we are compliant to this certification.
It means your team has to go and learn up and understand the client's businesses.
We have to talk to our client, try to understand their business better, try to understand their product better. If you look at a lot of other writers out there, they may just be going through some research on the internet, write it. That's also the reason why you see a lot of content, they lack the right
generic stuff, right?
Yes, correct. Because they don't actually have those information. On our side, we try to get as much detailed information as possible to make sure that this piece of content that we are creating really give value to the people that are actually reading it.
You know, now we have AI, generative AI, content and all that, right? How is that changing the way we do SEO and anything that it implies to your team?
I know a lot of other agencies, they'll be using AI to mass produce content. That is the cheapest way to write content compared to if you hire an agency or hire a writer to do it. But that's actually the worst way of doing things. At first, you may actually see some improvement in your traffic and all that because you are creating a lot of content. At least some of them are going to help you rank something and you're going to get some traffic come in and all that. For the long run, right, this is not going to work because Google knows people are using AI to generate content. But honestly speaking, right, for Google, right, like I said, Google wants content, that's it. As long as your content is helpful and useful, even if you use AI to generate, it's totally fine. But the only problem is that most AI generated content are not helpful. It's either fake news, fluff, totally wrong information, because we know AI can just give you hallucinated answers, correct? Yeah, they won't proofread, they won't check the facts and all that. That's when you use AI this way, right, it's actually very, very bad, especially in the long run. I think just this week, there is an article shares about Google. So if you are writing a lot of AI content previously, you need to be careful because your site might actually tank after Google launched these new changes to the algorithm.
Companies, right? I mean, I met companies, and since we are running an e-commerce marketing conference, right, there are a lot of e-commerce based or focused companies. And some of these companies, right, when I talk to them, right, they say, oh, we get our sales from Shopee, live selling, but not so much on SEO.
If you look at globally, right, SEO actually make up about 90+% of the sales for e-commerce. But in Malaysia, we have things like your Shopee, your Lazada. In the US, you have your Amazon and all that. If you look at all these things, yes, correct, those are different platforms that may not benefit from SEO done on your website, but they will still be benefiting from the SEO done on your product level. Because if you look at it, right, SEO is all about people going to Google search for something, and then they get that something. If you look at Lazada, Shopee, Amazon, it's the same thing. You have to go there, you search for a specific product. So how do you make sure that when they search for that specific product, you are up there? You need to do your keyword research as usual. You need to properly optimize your product title, your product description. So it's the same thing.
Can you share some of the tools that you use?
SEO tools, we use Ahrefs, sometimes we use SEMrush. Everything else, right, we actually build a lot of our own tools. We come from a startup background, so we know what are the kind of tools that we ourselves want to be using. We build our own tools of tracking, we build our own tools to help us do a little bit of higher level kind of analysis and all that. Automation in a way. So yeah.
How do you continue to acquire clients right now?
First is word of mouth. We do have a lot of clients, after seeing the work that we've done, they actually, introduce us to their friends. So that's where we get new clients to come in. Of course, we are also doing a lot of partnership with agencies. Most of the agencies, if you look at it, they may not have a full-fledged SEO. Yeah, correct. Sometimes they will work with us, outsource it to us. So on their side, they will do all the other marketing, like their paid ads and branding and whatnot. So we will take care of the SEO for them, which is kind of a win-win situation. So they now are able to provide like a full service for their clients, including SEO. But SEO actually comes from a more expert kind of a team instead of their in-house team, which may not be as expert. We are also running a little bit of content marketing, whether it's on social media and so on, by sharing our case studies, because we see that, okay, these are the kind of results that we are able to get for our client. So why not share some of these ideas to the community so that they can also learn from it. Of course, we have our own website as well.
Personal question, right? Which one do you prefer working with? Through agencies or direct to a brand?
Actually, working with agency has their own advantages as well. First thing is that it's easier for them to to explain certain things to the client. I think that is good because you are working with an agencies that you are going to be partnering up with quite often. Whatever strategy that they have for this specific client, all the social media and whatnot, right? You can easily work together. So now, because if you look at SEO, right, it's not a silo kind of marketing channel. All the marketing channels should actually work as a whole. So if you work with agency, you have access to discussing with them the overall strategy, which is much better. Compared to if you work with a brand directly, now we are their SEO agency, now they have their own other agency running social media, they have another agency running whatever type of marketing. And when you want to discuss the strategy as a whole, right, it's a lot more difficult because a lot of different parties needs to be working together. I do think working with an agency has these advantages to it. Working directly to the brand, of course, is good because you get direct access to the brand. Sometimes agencies do not want us to be talking directly to the client. So they will be the kind of the middleman, passing the messages around. So when we want to be sharing the idea of SEO, okay, why this is happening, how we can improve it further, how we can grow it further and all that, they may not be able to explain it as well to the client. So that's going to be
sometimes they jeopardize the whole campaign, right? I mean, now you manage a team of strategists and all that, right? If you start all again from the beginning, when you guys were just starting the whole SEO agency, right? What would you do differently?
I think learning how to keep good people in the team is very important because along the year, we have trained a lot of strategists because usually we hire people that don't have any knowledge. Reason for that is very simple, right? We don't want them to have all those 20 years or old baggage to come in, right? We want them to learn what is important right now. So starting from ground is actually the best way. But the challenge is that you need to spend a lot of time training them, making sure that they are at the right level to be able to work with a client, give right strategy and so on. Sometimes it's very difficult to keep these people. The people that we train usually, I would say, quite good in terms of the overall understanding of SEO and all that compared to other agencies, like I said. So they are always being headhunted. We find it difficult to actually be able to keep them. Recently, I think it's getting better because we start to learn about how we can keep them, what's important for them, what makes them want to stay. So I think these are the kind of learning that if I start over again, I definitely want to acquire this learning much faster.
So what's your number one strategy to keeping them with you right now?
I think it's more like underdog.com. We want to make sure that we have fun. We want to make sure that we are not stressed out. So we talk about work-life balance, we talk about remote work, flexibility and all that. So I think these are all the things that I find very important. Of course, pay is one thing.
Lastly, you want to make a shout out, where can we find you?
So you can find us at Growth.Pro, growth.pro. That's our website. Of course, you can go to our Facebook and LinkedIn as well. So just reach out to us if you have any questions or if you need any help with your SEO.